you ever make anything happen? Anything you couldn't explain? You're a wizard, Harry.
I'm a what? Dear Mr. Potter, we are pleased to inform you that you have been accepted at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry.
In a few moments, you will pass through these doors and join your classmates.
Keep an eye on the staircases. They like to change.
Good afternoon, class. Welcome to your first flying lesson. Stick your right hand over the broom and say up. Wow. Mr. Longbottom, exactly where do you think you're going?
Do you really have the scar? Wicked.
There are stories that entertain us, and then there are stories that shape who we are. For millions of children around the world, the Harry Potter series was more than just a set of books, it was a doorway into a world of wonder. Through its pages, childhood felt like a fairy tale, filled with spells, hidden castles, and lessons about courage, friendship, and love. The author behind this magical universe gave us more than characters and adventures. She gave us a place to belong, a home for our imagination, and the belief that even in the darkest of times, light can always be found. For that, generations will always carry gratitude for the gift of her words, the magic that turned our childhood into something extraordinary. But behind that magic was someone who wasn't living a fairy tale at all. A woman battling grief, poverty, and rejection, yet refusing to let go of her dream. And through that determination, she gave us a world that will live forever. This is the story of J.K. Rowling, how a struggling single mother, writing in cafes with her baby asleep beside her, created one of the most beloved universes in history, a story of resilience, courage, and the magic of never giving up. Before red carpets and movie premieres, J.K. Rowling was a single mother, struggling to make ends meet, battling depression, and living on welfare. Little did she know that she was carrying a story in her mind that could change the world. That's exactly where J.K. Rowling was in the early 1990s. She had no fame, no fortune, and no guarantee that her dream would ever come true. Yet, armed with nothing but a pen, a notebook, and an unshakable belief in her story, she created Harry Potter, a magical world that would capture the hearts of millions, inspire generations, and transform her life forever. Joanne Kathleen Rowling, known to the world as J.K. Rowling, was born on July 31, 1965, in Yate, a small town in Gloucestershire, England. From the very beginning, she showed signs of a vivid imagination. As a child, she would spend hours creating stories, often writing them down in notebooks she carried everywhere. Her love for books was profound, and she would immerse herself in tales of adventure, mystery, and fantasy, laying the foundation for the magical worlds she would later create. Her childhood was not without challenges. Joanne's family was loving, but life was ordinary and sometimes difficult. She had to navigate the complexities of growing up, including her parents' separation later in her teenage years, which deeply affected her. Even at a young age, she experienced moments of sadness and introspection, which would later shape the emotional depth of her stories. School was both a place of inspiration and struggle. Joanne excelled academically, showing early signs of talent in literature and languages, but she was also shy and reserved. Many of the traits that would later appear in her characters, like resilience, empathy, and the courage to stand up for what is right, were honed during these formative years. Her love for storytelling was relentless. By her early teens, she was writing stories about a boy wizard attending a school of magic, long before anyone could imagine Harry Potter becoming a worldwide phenomenon. These early ideas were raw and unpolished, but they carried the seed of the incredible universe she would one day fully realize. Even as a child, Rowling learned the first important lesson of her life: imagination could be a refuge in hard times, a spark of hope when the world felt ordinary or challenging. Little did she know, this spark would one day light up the lives of millions around the globe. The moment that would change J.K. Rowling's life forever came in 1990, during a train journey from Manchester to London. Joanne, then a 25-year-old teacher, was traveling without a pen or notebook. And yet, in her mind, a vivid image appeared: a young boy with messy black hair, wearing glasses, discovering that he was a wizard. She could see the boy boarding a magical train, heading to a school of wizardry. For hours, she sat on that train, completely absorbed in the story playing out in her imagination. That single spark, the idea of Harry Potter, ignited something deep within her. She knew that this story had to be written. From that moment on, she carried the vision of Hogwarts, magical creatures, and the epic battle between good and evil in her mind, even though her life at the time was far from magical. Life for J.K. Rowling during the early 1990s was far from easy. Beyond the excitement of her imagination and the spark of Harry Potter, she faced deep personal challenges. In 1990, her beloved mother, Anne Rowling, passed away after a long battle with multiple sclerosis. This loss struck Joanne deeply. She has often described her mother as a major influence on her writing, and her death brought an intense wave of grief that she struggled to process. Around the same time, Rowling's marriage ended, and she found herself as a single mother to her infant daughter, Jessica. Money was scarce, and she relied on government welfare to survive. There were days when she had barely enough to pay rent, let alone buy books or writing supplies. Depression, a heavy cloud in her life, became a constant companion, making her feel trapped and overwhelmed. Yet, amidst these hardships, Rowling continued to write. She would take her daughter to the local library or sit in cafes with Jessica asleep beside her, pouring her thoughts and the magical world of Harry Potter onto scraps of paper and notebooks. Writing became both an escape and a lifeline, a way to cope with grief, stress, and uncertainty. Her struggle with depression also inspired the themes in her books. The fear, sadness, and loneliness that characters like Harry, Hermione, and even Voldemort experienced were reflections of real emotions she had felt. This raw honesty gave her story emotional depth, connecting it to readers around the world who had faced their own struggles. During these years, Rowling learned another essential lesson: even in the darkest times, creativity and determination can light the path forward. She refused to let her circumstances define her destiny. Every rejection, every financial struggle, and every lonely night only strengthened her determination to bring Harry Potter to life. It was a period of true resilience. Rowling's journey shows that talent alone isn't enough sometimes. It is the courage to keep going in the face of immense hardship that separates ordinary people from those who leave an indelible mark on the world. Even with her notebooks full of magical worlds and compelling characters, J.K. Rowling's path to publication was far from smooth. After finishing the manuscript for Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, she submitted it to several publishers. Each rejection letter she received could have been a reason to give up. 12 publishers turned her down. Some said the book was too long, others doubted whether a story about a young wizard would appeal to children. It would have been easy to take these rejections personally, to let disappointment quash her dream. But Rowling did not give up. She continued to revise her manuscript, improve her writing, and send it out again. Her persistence finally paid off in 1996, when Bloomsbury Publishing accepted her manuscript. The advance was a modest £1,500, a sum that barely covered basic living expenses, but it was enough to open the door to the world she had imagined for so long. The publisher advised her to get a day job, which she did, but Rowling's dedication to her writing never wavered. It's important to remember the courage this required. At that point, she was still a struggling single mother, living in a small apartment and trying to balance parenting with her dream. Many people in her situation might have chosen the easier path, abandoning the manuscript, accepting defeat, or giving up on the dream entirely. Rowling chose a different path: persistence, patience, and unwavering belief in her story. Even after Bloomsbury's acceptance, she was advised to use her initials, J.K. Rowling, instead of Joanne Rowling, because the publisher thought a female author might not appeal to the target audience of young boys. Yet, she didn't let that compromise her vision. She remained true to her story, knowing its magic transcended gender or expectation. This chapter of her life teaches a universal truth: rejection is not failure, it is a stepping stone toward success. Every no brings you closer to the yes that will change your life. J.K. Rowling's journey proves that belief in oneself, even in the face of repeated setbacks, can turn dreams into reality. Once Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone hit the shelves in 1997, the world began to take notice. What started as a modestly published children's book quickly turned into a literary sensation. Rowling's magical world, complete with Hogwarts, Quidditch, and unforgettable characters, captivated readers of all ages. Within months, the book became a bestseller in the UK, and soon after, it crossed the Atlantic to the United States, where the enthusiasm for Harry Potter exploded even further. The following years were transformative. Each subsequent book in the series, 7 in total, broke sales records, topped bestseller lists, and captured the imaginations of millions. Rowling went from living on welfare to becoming one of the wealthiest authors in the world. Her success was unprecedented, not just because of the money, but because of the impact her stories had on global culture. The magic of Harry Potter didn't stop at the page, it leapt onto the big screen. In 2001, Warner Brothers released Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, titled Sorcerer's Stone in the US, bringing Hogwarts to life for the very first time. Audiences around the world filled theaters, and millions of readers who had grown up with the books finally saw Harry, Hermione, Ron, and the entire wizarding world come alive before their eyes. The success was staggering. Each movie broke box office records, with fans lining up days in advance for premieres. Over the next decade, 8 films were released, adapting all 7 books. Together, the film series earned over $7.7 billion worldwide, making it one of the highest-grossing franchises in cinematic history. But beyond numbers, the films created a cultural moment. Actors like Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint became household names, and millions of fans grew up alongside them. The movies deepened the global love for Harry Potter, cementing it as not just a book series, but a cultural legacy spanning generations. Rowling's imagination had not only reshaped literature but had transformed the film industry, proving that stories, when told with heart, can transcend mediums and touch lives everywhere. The Harry Potter phenomenon extended beyond books. Movies, merchandise, theme parks, and a devoted fanbase turned her creations into a cultural empire. Yet, despite her fame, Rowling remained grounded. She continued to emphasize the importance of imagination, empathy, and kindness, values that had always driven her writing. Her story illustrates another key lesson: success is rarely instant, but when it comes, it can be extraordinary if you remain true to your vision and values. Rowling's rise from poverty to international acclaim is a testament to the power of resilience, creativity, and unwavering dedication. Beyond financial success, her influence on literature and education has been monumental. Millions of children discovered the joy of reading through Harry Potter, and countless adults found inspiration in the courage, loyalty, and morality embedded in her stories. She transformed reading from a hobby into a global movement, leaving a legacy that goes far beyond book sales. Rowling's journey also shows the importance of using one's platform for good. She has donated millions to charity, advocated for social justice, and shared her experiences with mental health challenges to inspire others. The magic she created on the page translated into tangible, positive change in the real world. Even after achieving global fame, J.K. Rowling remained deeply committed to her family and the values that had shaped her. She married Neil Murray, a Scottish doctor, and together they had 2 children, adding to her daughter Jessica from her previous marriage. For Rowling, family was always a grounding force, a source of love, support, and perspective amidst the whirlwind of her extraordinary success. Rowling has often spoken about the importance of maintaining balance in life. Fame and fortune could have easily consumed her, but she made conscious choices to prioritize her family, ensuring her children had a normal upbringing as much as possible despite the global spotlight. This balance reinforced the idea that true success is measured not just by wealth or fame, but by relationships, love, and connection. Beyond her personal life, Rowling has used her success to give back to society in meaningful ways. She has donated millions to charities, supporting causes such as children's welfare, poverty alleviation, and multiple sclerosis research, a cause deeply personal to her because of her mother's battle with the disease. She also founded Lumos, an organization dedicated to helping disadvantaged children around the world find safety, support, and education, particularly those in institutional care. Her philanthropy demonstrates the principle that true greatness includes lifting others as you rise. Rowling's generosity extends beyond financial donations. She has openly shared her story of struggle, depression, and perseverance, inspiring countless individuals to keep pursuing their dreams, no matter the obstacles. Even as she navigated fame, wealth, and influence, Rowling never lost sight of the values that shaped her life: empathy, kindness, and a commitment to helping others. Her story proves that success is most meaningful when it is used as a tool for positive change, not just for oneself, but for the world. J.K. Rowling's extraordinary journey from struggle to global recognition has been marked by numerous awards and honors, reflecting not only her literary genius but also the impact of her work on millions of lives. Her Harry Potter series has won hundreds of awards worldwide, including the British Book Awards, Hugo Award, and Locus Award, among others. In 2001, she was awarded the Order of the British Empire, OBE, for her services to literature, an honor that recognized not just her storytelling, but the profound cultural influence of her work. Rowling has also received multiple honorary degrees from universities around the world, celebrating her contributions to education, literature, and youth literacy. Beyond literary recognition, Rowling has been celebrated for her philanthropy and advocacy. She has been honored for her work with disadvantaged children through her organization Lumos, as well as her support for charities addressing poverty, multiple sclerosis, and social justice. In 2012, she was named one of Time magazine's 100 most influential people, cementing her status not just as a writer, but as a global figure who inspires change. Despite the fame, awards, and accolades, Rowling has remained humble, often emphasizing that the greatest reward is the connection she has built with her readers. Her story shows that true achievement is measured not just by recognition, but by the impact you leave on the world and the lives you touch along the way. J.K. Rowling's journey, from a struggling single mother to one of the most influential storytellers in history, is filled with lessons that inspire millions around the world. Her life teaches that resilience, imagination, and perseverance can overcome even the most daunting obstacles. One of the clearest lessons from her story is the power of never giving up. Despite rejection after rejection, financial hardship, and personal struggles, Rowling held on to her vision. She believed in her story when almost no one else did, proving that determination and self-belief are essential ingredients for success. Another lesson is the importance of using hardship as fuel for creativity. Rowling's personal pain, loss, depression, and struggles as a single mother infused her work with emotional depth. Her books are not just tales of magic, but reflections of real human experiences: love, loss, courage, and friendship. Rowling's story also highlights the value of giving back. Her philanthropy and advocacy show that success gains its true meaning when it helps others. She has dedicated her wealth and influence to improving the lives of children, supporting health causes, and promoting education and social justice. Finally, her life is a testament to the enduring power of imagination. She transformed the simple act of storytelling into a global phenomenon that not only entertained millions but inspired them to dream bigger, read more, and believe in the extraordinary. Today, J.K. Rowling's legacy continues to grow. Her books remain beloved worldwide, her philanthropy impacts countless lives, and her story reminds us that even in the darkest moments, magic is possible when you believe, persist, and create. Her life is proof that ordinary circumstances do not define your destiny. Courage, creativity, and determination do. From a cafe in Edinburgh to the top of the literary world, J.K. Rowling's journey is a shining example that dreams, no matter how impossible they seem, can become reality. So, remember this: no matter how hard life gets, how many doors close, or how impossible your dreams may seem, like J.K. Rowling, you too have the power to turn your struggles into your greatest story and maybe even change the world along the way. That's the inspirational story of Joanne Kathleen Rowling. There are so many stories we have uploaded available in our library. Watch them as well because they are interesting. And lastly, like, share and subscribe.